Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Check the Pulse of Rescue Nation, brought to you by X-Cancer. Check them out at xcancer.com. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, my best Ric Flair woo. My voice cracks like a 12-year-old. Anyways, I digress. A lot has happened in that Nebraska running back room. We have a new running backs coach, Mr. Brian Applewhite. Now, I did talk about him specifically in a previous Carriker Chronicles show, broke it down more in depth, my thoughts on his hire. If you missed it, go check that out. Also, we have the addition of the number one JUCO running back in the country, the JUCO Player of the Year. I did talk about him more in depth in a previous show. Go check out that show if you missed it. But a lot has happened. We have a guy joining the room here pretty soon who is the Mr. Football in his state. He was so highly thought of as a football player in high school in his state, going to be joining that running back room as well. Now, real quick, got to handle a little bit of business before I get bombarded, because this show is about the potential Nebraska running back room. There's a lot of stars. There's a lot of, when I say stars, I mean like 4-star guys, talented guys. There's a lot of ability, potential. The ability to do great things, ain't done it yet, but there's a lot of potential in that Husker running back room. I'm going to talk about it and give my final thoughts, talk about each of the guys in that room. But before I get to that, I got to handle some business. Please don't bombard me with running the football starts up front with the offensive line. Because if we can run the ball, it takes pressure off the quarterback, whoever that starting quarterback is for the Huskers this year. And that starts up front with the offensive line. Adam, I know I'm going to get bombarded with the comments. Do me a favor. Instead of hitting me up with a million comments about the offensive line and running backs video, give this video a like. Just simply give it a like if you want me to do a show on the offensive line here in the future. You want to hear about the offensive line? Please don't leave a comment. Please just give the show a like, and I will do it. Today's show is about the Nebraska running backs room, the guys in that room, and the potential that room has. So let's light this candle, shall we? Now, I'm going to keep this brief because I did just do a show on Anthony Grant. As I mentioned, he's the number one junior college running back in the country. He was a 4-star coming out of high school. He has 2 years of eligibility left. He's 5'11", 210 pounds. I've watched a lot of film on him since he committed to come to Nebraska. This is a dude who can run you over. This is a dude who runs with physicality. He doesn't just run defenders over. I see helmets popping off on defenders. He can not only run through you, he can also run past you. He legit has really good speed. Much better than I thought it would be. He can run through you. He can run past you. He is a guy in that running backs room that could potentially earn that starting running backs job. And for the first time since Divine Ozigbo, we could potentially have a bell cow at running back. All right. And Divine was the first one since 2014 when Amir was that guy. It's crazy that at Nebraska, we haven't had many of those guys since 2014. He's the guy who could potentially earn that starting job and potentially be that guy. Next up, no particular order on this list, by the way. Next up is Marquise Stepp, 4-star coming out of high school, USC transfer. Okay, there's really only 2 upperclassmen in this running backs room. All the rest of the guys after this are younger guys. Marquise and Anthony are the 2 upperclassmen guys, but Marquise has great power. He is a powerful running back. He's a guy I honestly thought would get more carries last year. Maybe it'll happen for him this year. Next on the list is Caggian. Again, no particular order. 6'2", 245 pounds. If you look at how they're built, all the running backs in this room, all right, the 2 most physically impressive guys based on how they're built and how they look are Anthony Grant and Caggian. All right, he's got plenty of power, plenty of size, and plenty of speed to go with that size. Okay, he was another guy that I was like, where is he last year? Why isn't he getting more reps? I think a lot of people felt that way. Now, here's the reason why he didn't see the field more. It's right here. He's got to learn the playbook better. He's got to understand pass protection better. He's got to understand going the right way on the running plays more, every single time. Okay, he's got to understand the mental part of football better. He's a young guy. A true freshman. Okay, a year ago. Now, obviously, he's had a year with the offense under his belt, but he's got to learn that mental side of the game because that's the only thing holding him back because physically it's all there. Hopefully, he'll be able to develop between the years, which is all he's missing. And for a young guy, it happens. But hopefully he can develop between the years quickly and he can get a lot more of those carries this year because he's going to be fun to watch. All right, next up on the list is Gabe Irvin, 6 foot, 215 pounds, redshirt freshman. Ranked among the top 25 high school running backs in the country coming out of high school. Again, plenty of stars rankings and plenty of talented guys in this room. Now, he did something that's never, ever been done here at the University of Nebraska football, which is crazy with all the talented running backs we've had through the year. He's the first ever true freshman running back to start game 1 of his season for Nebraska. All right, he started the first game last year. Obviously, the coaches like him, okay? He unfortunately had a season-ending knee injury he suffered versus Oklahoma. So one of the questions I have, wish him a speedy recovery, obviously, is how much is he going to be able to do in the spring? Okay, because that's going to be something I'm curious to keep my eye on during the spring, is how much can he do? All right, because obviously that'll affect, where he's going to be standing in this Nebraska running backs room. Obviously, he understands the offense. He has an understanding of the offense, so they wouldn't have started a true freshman. Kind of the opposite of Jacques Yant when it comes to understanding of the offense. Hopefully, Jacques can catch up, and hopefully Gabe can get healthy physically. Next on the list, Ramir Johnson, 5'10", 185 pounds, sophomore. He kind of became the pseudo-starting running back for Nebraska down the stretch a season ago. Again, 4-star running back when he came out of high school. Probably Nebraska's fastest running back. He was a track star in high school. Next up, Emmett Johnson. True freshman going to arrive this spring, 6 foot, 185 pounds. Okay, top high school player, Mr. Football in the state of Minnesota. So I'll be curious to see what the young fella can do there. And I have the utmost respect for walk-ons, all right? My brother-in-law is a walk-on. It's how I met my wife. I was good friends with him. Nebraska football's had so many successful walk-ons. So I can't list every single name, all right, on the entire roster for the running backs, but I want to drop a couple out there. All right, Zach Weinmaster, who's a walk-on from Loveland, Colorado. Cooper Druitt, who's a walk-on from Omaha. I do not care who the starting running back is. I don't care if it's a walk-on or a 25-star. I really don't. Whoever earns the job. Because here are my final thoughts. We need someone to take the bull by the horns of the starting running back's job, because no more running back. We got 6 scholarship running backs. It seems like a lot to me. No more running back by committee. It can't happen. Somebody's got to take the bull by the horns. We've got to be able to run the football. Again, it starts up front with the O-line. If you want that show, hit the like button. But somebody at the running back position. We can't have our best running back being our quarterback. For the past 2 or 3 seasons, our best running back has been our quarterback. We can't have that. We got to take the pressure off the quarterback. Okay? All right. And they're all highly rated, all highly talented. The ceilings are all high for all these guys. The only guy who wasn't highly rated coming out of high school of these 6 scholarship running backs was Jacques Yant, who was a walk-on, earned a scholarship, and he may be the most physically impressive guy in the entire room. And if it's not one guy that takes the bull by the horns, I don't care if we get a 1-2 punch. Look at the NFL draft. Running backs aren't taken in the first round anywhere near as much as they used to be, because they like to rotate guys. They like to go with the hot hand. They like to keep guys fresh. If that's what we do, cool. No more running back by committee, 5 or 6. But if 2 guys step up, I could see a great 1-2 punch being thunder and lightning like Ramir Johnson and Jacques Yant. Speed, power. Or if you want 2 guys who are similar in size like Anthony Grant and Gabe Irvin, and you just go with the hot hand or rotate and keep each other fresh, that could be a great rotation. Somebody's got to step up, or somebodies, a couple of guys, and take the bull by the horns. Go Big Red Nose, remember. To the bug.